What's going on, everybody? It is very cold out here. I just wrapped up shooting, working on Duran's John boat, decking that boat out. I want to do a real quick kayak video, okay? Because I saw something the other day that just compelled me to put this video out. So this is my boat. I love my boat. I've been a kayak angler for over 3 years now. My friends are kayak anglers, and one of the things about fishing and boating is you have to be humble enough to learn from the people who know how to do what it is you're trying to do. If you saw my video at the show where I was talking to Rob Choi and Kayak Kevin, these guys are phenomenal kayakers, okay? I'm humble in their presence, and I learn a lot from the people around me, from Reggie, who's in the video, from Rob, from Kevin, Sean Amos. These people teach me, okay? If you're gonna kayak, you need a teacher. You need a teacher. I was on the water the other day, and I saw a gentleman, and if you've got a Walmart kayak, that's fine. But here's the problem with that. You're just going to Walmart buying a boat. Who told you anything about that boat? Who told you anything about the paddle, about the life jacket, about anything? Kayaking, if you did not know, kayak fishing is considered an extreme sport. Yeah. There's a reason why people look at us like, you do what in a plastic boat? You're crazy. Because most people who don't do it think we're crazy. Here's what this gentleman did. He was in a sit-in kayak. Don't buy a sit-in kayak. He had the boat on the bank, and he launched backwards. He got in a sit-in. The back of the boat was in the water. The bow was up on a bank on about a 30-degree grade. He got in the sit-in, and the back of the boat's rocking, and he's looking up the hill, and I couldn't get to him, and he shoves off backwards. He shoved off backwards. The water was 42 degrees. There was a series of rapids up above us. We were in a river that came down to a funnel. If you don't know kayaking, or if you don't know what we're talking about, then everybody on here who kayaks is watching like, so the current ramps up. Yes, the current ramps up. When you push that water through that tight space, your current's gonna increase. So you got froth coming down, the water's 42 degrees. You got a deep section, and then you've got a series of rapids, about 40 yards of rapids across the whole river. The river is 3 feet higher than normal. It's 42 degrees. This guy had on hip waders. Hip waders are anchors. If you get wet, you're not swimming in hip waders, you're going to the bottom. If he rolled that boat, even if he bobbed up, the hip waders are enough to drag you and your life jacket underwater. He had on hip waders. He had on a regular coat. He had on a cheap little simple orange vest. Now, props to him for having on a vest, but it was one of those little cheap orange ones, and it was loose. So with hip waders, if he'd have gotten wet, the vest was actually loose enough that it could have gotten pulled off of him. My buddy and I looked at him. He's probably watching this video. My buddy looked at him, and we said, if he goes in the water, there's not anything anyone on this bank of the river can do to help him. He's dead. 42-degree water, you're in shock in 90 seconds or less. You're underwater. If you don't take a gasp of cold air, like when you hit that water, your body's going to breathe, and you're going to inhale cold water. Everything this guy did was wrong. Guys, if you are thinking about kayaking, if you have a kayak, if you went to a store and bought a kayak and it's not a paddle store like the one near me, like Paddle VA, okay, Appomattox River Company, Austin Kayak, all right, there are kayaking stores that aren't gigantic, but you need someone. You need a mentor. You need to be taught. Please don't go buy a sit-in kayak from Walmart and just decide, I'm going out in the water now. Please don't. The whole time this gentleman was paddling up and down this river, I'm worried that he was not going to make it back in. He did so many things wrong. Hip waders. He wasn't in a, if you go look at Elias V Fishing, he's wearing a cold weather suit, right? He's wearing like a suit like, almost like they wear when they go crab fishing in the Arctic. Yeah, like if he goes in, he's sealed up. He's got a dry suit on. He's going to be okay for a little while. If I go in the water like this, I'm going to be okay for 60 seconds, if that, okay? Because I'm already cold. This guy had on hip waders. He was in a sit-in kayak. He launched it backwards. The paddle was upside down. The life jacket was loose. He was fishing in current. It was January, and there was no way for him to get out of the river if something happened. So many things wrong. So many things wrong. I just wanted to share that. A while back, Chad Hoover said, if you're a kayak influencer, always wear your life jacket. Chad, I wear my life jacket. But I thought about that when I saw this gentleman on the water. And I'm going to take it a step further. So Chad said, wear your jacket if you're a kayak influencer. If you're a kayak influencer, do something to save a life. Do something to save a life. This guy had no clue what he was doing. Okay? If you're thinking about getting a kayak, if you already have one and you're learning on your own, find a friend. Find a friend or hang out at the store or message me or something. But I'm glad this guy made it back in, because I really didn't think he was. Hip waders in winter, water gets in those things there, anchors. You are going down. You're going straight down. Big old wide hip waders attached to his belt. No, you're going down. So many things wrong. Be safe. I had to get that off my chest. Hopefully it helps somebody out there. Hopefully one of you is out there learning to kayak on your own, and this is going to prompt you to ask somebody, is what I'm doing okay? All right? Be safe. I don't want to hear about anybody in the news. What we do is dangerous, and we need to be smart about it so that we're safe. All right? Doug, I know you said to do it in more than one take, but that's just straight off. When I get emotional, guys, I just come straight off the top, and he comes straight out. So if I'm incoherent, I apologize. Please like and subscribe. If this message means something to you, hit subscribe, share it with a friend, help save somebody's life. Somebody tell Chad Hoover about this one.